But the fact remains, lawmakers on both sides, in both houses, agree once again the little guy is getting screwed. So what should be done about it? Let's get into it with tonight's party panel. We've got a good one. American Enterprise Institute resident fellow and Washington Examiner senior political columnist Tim Carney is back right in front of the White House. That's where he is. And we've got comedian and host of the Part of the Problem podcast, which you know and love. He is the man, Dave Smith, well-bearded, and Democratic strategist and Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall. Oh, man, three little angels here to duke it out or to agree. I don't know where you all stand, but Tim, Charles makes a really good point. These big funds have been manipulating stock prices for their advantage for as long as there has been a stock market. So tell me about some of the interesting allies that these massive investors have.
Well, I mean, Washington, D.C., for one.
Yep.
Democrats and Republicans. And the thing is that so much of financial regulation is geared towards improving confidence in the markets. Not making the markets run better necessarily, but making people more confident in the markets. I think we should be doing the opposite, and this is what this does. In the long run, the stock market is a measure of the wealth of companies. In the short run, it's the measure of randomness. It's a measure of who's manipulating what. It's a measure of stupidity. You cannot win in the short run. You shouldn't have confidence in your ability to play in the short run. And this is part of the way that hedge funds have always made money, is playing with the manipulation. Now they're the ones who got manipulated.
Yes, and I've always wondered how they make billions and billions of dollars per fund. And now you know, because they're working together. But David, also people are learning new terms like short selling, and they look at this and they ask themselves, all right, so if I want to go on an app and if I want to buy one of these stocks, I'm locked out. So that means the free market isn't really free. And they start asking themselves, how else is it not free? How else have I been lied to? What do you have to say to them?
Well, this entire industry is the antithesis of the free market. I mean, these are all. It all starts with the Federal Reserve, which is, you know, poses as a private entity, but is basically the Department of Money and Banking. It was created by an act of Congress. The head is appointed by the president. They are the ones who prop up all of these big banks. And truthfully, look, a lot of this wild speculating is damaging to the economy, but this is what you get when you live in an economy with artificially low interest rates. It encourages this speculation. So you're not getting around that. What's fascinating about this case is, like you said, a lot of people are actually starting to take a look at this system. There's no reason to assume that this can't be done again. They basically decided that they can take on this short selling strategy of the hedge funds, and they were able to do it very successfully. But I think what's really interesting to people to watch is, in the year 2020, you had the largest transfer of wealth in human history from the poor and the middle class to the upper class, to the rich and connected. Huge corporate bailouts, shutdowns of mom and pop shops, record high profits for big companies, big tech companies, Amazon and the like. No one had a problem with this huge transfer of wealth. There was not this hysteria about it. Yet in one day, we have a transfer of wealth from some hedge fund guys to some regular investors, and everybody's flipping out. And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about how corrupt this system is, I don't know what would.
I know a lot of platforms have shut down trading of stocks like Nokia and COS and AMC and BlackBerry, not to mention GameStop, Leslie. But where can you still trade? Do you know that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm one of those people who not too long ago thought a hedge fund was a fund for money for my hedges in my yard. But listen, I love this. I have to say, I don't love them being stopped and the apps being shut down. I root for the underdog, and I love when the little guy goes, hey, player, I'm going to play your game and play you. And that's exactly what they did here. And I think the awesome thing about this is for people that aren't familiar with the market or don't invest or have somebody do it for them and don't fully understand because it's IRA or 401k and stuff like that that most Americans have investments through, they really get a peek into what's going on, which is, hey, you know, we're going to get rich. We're going to sink your company in the process. And these little guys are like amateur investors saying, you know, we're gonna use the internet,
Yeah.
and we're gonna play your game. It kind of reminded me in a different way of all the TikTok kids buying tickets to a Trump rally one time. But I have to say, I root for the underdog. And when AOC and Ted Cruz agree on something,
Yes.
and everybody's agreeing on something, you know these hedge fund rich guys are doing something bad.
Yes, and when they're trying to drive the value of certain companies into the ground by shorting them, and then you have a group of investors, amateur investors, day traders, who figure that out, and they go, no, 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 we know exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to short sell this. We're going to jack up the price. We're going to stop them from doing that, and in the meantime, we're going to make all this money when the value of the company goes up.